Hello, so another vlog. Yeah, this one's going to feature mostly about heart issues and Marfan syndrome and the issues I've been having lately, and showing you something cool. So yeah, third lockdown, shielding again, which the whole of 2020 for the full year I was in lockdown and shielding, and now it looks like it's going to be much of the same again for 2021. What are you doing, Squeak? Come here. Don't be knocking things off the shelf. Sorry, Squeak's being a rascal. So yeah, 2021, I did have plans for 2021, which now I cannot carry out due to the COVID chaos. I did want to go and do a photography course. It's a really basic course, but it's like a stepping stone to higher courses. Which I don't know if I would take the higher courses. I just wanted to do this basic little one to prove that I can do it, and two, because I might learn some new things, because photography is a hobby of mine. I like taking photos, mostly nature and stuff, but yeah, so I want to learn a few new tricks, but yeah, mostly to prove that I can do it, mostly to prove to myself that I can do it, because I wanted to do that when I left school, but was discouraged by my mum, my nan, people around me, and I think mostly they didn't realise what they were doing. They thought they were doing the best for me, especially my nan. She thought she was doing what was best and wanted the best for me, but she hadn't really dealt with complex disabilities like mine before. She was of an older generation, so but I was discouraged and told, no, you won't be able to do it, you won't understand it, because of my learning difficulties and stuff, and was discouraged from doing it. And they picked a course for me and said, you're doing this course, which was a really basic computer course, which I already knew how to use a computer. I had computer training at school because I did most of my work on the computer, and I had computer lessons, one-on-one. So yeah, I already knew all about computers, and that computer course did not help at all. It didn't get me a job, even though I got the qualifications in it. I passed, but it was useless because by that time the ECDL had started coming in, and you had to have an ECDL to be able to get a computer job, so I would have had to go and do all that again under the ECDL, and by that time I would have had to pay for it all myself. Excuse me, I knocked the microphone. But yeah, I would have had to pay for it all myself, and I didn't have the money for that, so But yeah, so I've decided I wanted to do it in 2021, start the year off with signing up for a photography course. But now I can't do it because I'm shielding and COVID, and yeah. Just go away, COVID. Nobody wants you. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the year, I guess. Play more video games, make some more videos about video games, try and do some more streaming, because that's something I was trying to learn how to do in the first lockdown, and I kind of figured it out, but the technology I was using weren't quite up to the task. So I got some new technology, so hopefully I can utilise that and try and do some streams on YouTube and some on Facebook maybe that aren't just super laggy. So yeah. But yeah, in other news, I managed to go for my routine heart checkup, which I have them a couple of times a year at the hospital. Usually I go to Southampton General for that, but Southampton General at the moment is a COVID hot zone, so I can't go there. So they set me up in a private hospital I have not been to before, but it was COVID free and COVID safe apparently, this hospital. It's a really nice hospital, so yeah, it was really good, and the nurses and the technicians and everything and the doctors there were brilliant, you know. So yeah, I got that done, which that helped ease my anxiety because the results and that came back good. So yeah, I was as healthy as a MAF could be. MAF patient. So yeah. But then I had a routine checkup, blood test and blood pressure at my GP's a couple of days ago, and then the GP rang me back and said, yeah, there's a problem. And yeah, anxiety voice went, oh my god, you're gonna die. So I was like, ignore the anxiety voice. Shut up, anxiety voice. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to hear from you. Yeah, basically my vitamins are low, which for me is a normal occurrence. My body doesn't absorb calcium or vitamin D correctly. So my vitamin count is always low. So I take vitamins for it, vitamin supplements. I take the Holland and Barrett ones. Calcium with vitamin D and vitamin K. And I take the iron and vitamin C. Yeah, so vitamin K helps your body absorb calcium and vitamin D. So if you're taking vitamin D and calcium supplements, make sure you take vitamin K as well. Unless you are on blood thinners like warfarin. In that case, be careful with your vitamin K consumption, because vitamin K can cause your INR to do backflips, basically. It can cause your INR results to be all over the place. And when you're on warfarin or blood thinners or what have you, you have to keep your INR steady. So yeah, be careful with your vitamin K intake if you are on warfarin. So yeah, but not only my vitamin levels were low, my renal function and kidney functions and stuff were low. Now, sometimes that happens when my vitamins are low because vitamins do dictate your renal functions as well. They have an effect on that as well. So when your vitamins are low, sometimes your renal function can lower as well. So that is usually quite normal for me, for it to be a little bit low. But apparently it's drastically low this time, and there are some other indicators. Now, the doctor did mention what they were, but it was medical jargon. Some medical jargon I understand, but some I'm kind of like, because with the Marfan syndrome and all my other medical issues, I research all of that. Anything medical issue that comes up with me, I research every bit of medical jargon I can, so that I can understand what the doctors are saying to me when they're saying it, and I can communicate back with medical jargon to the doctors so they understand me and it's all fully clear what's going on, and there's no cross wires, because cross wires are no good when it comes to health. Your health is important, so having cross wires is no good. So yeah, but he mentioned it's like he was speaking in code, but yeah, so there's some issues there. So he's ordered another blood test for in a couple of weeks, but in the meantime, he advised me to buy a home blood pressure monitor. Now, this is the cool thing I was talking about earlier. It has a home blood pressure machine. I've been playing about with it a little bit today to see how it works. Now, mainly because you have to take a couple of readings with these so the machine can adjust to you and your blood pressure, because when you buy a blood pressure machine, the first couple of times you use it, the blood pressure readings will always be very high, and they won't be accurate. So you have to use it a couple of times for it to get to grips with you and your blood pressure and to sync with you, I guess. I don't know. Now, this came with a user manual, but I can't read it. The font is way too small. I have a little bit of trouble reading that. I mean, the camera can't focus on it. This camera is not very good at focusing. So yeah. So I've looked at some of the diagrams, but when John wakes up later, I'm going to get him to help me read this so I fully understand the machine properly and how it works. Now, I have used blood pressure machines at the hospital before, so I kind of know what I'm doing a little bit. I'm no medical expert, but I kind of know I've probably had my blood pressure taken more than I've had hot dinners, probably, you know. But yeah, so my doctor advised me to get a home blood pressure machine because he wants me to take a reading every day, and note it down and show him the reading in a couple of weeks when I go for the blood test. Because he wants to check everything and make sure it's all fine, because it could be my medication that I am taking for my heart is causing the problem. So he's checking every avenue, so it means I've got to take a reading every day. Now, this has memory. It's like 6D memory, it said on the box. I think I have the box here, actually. I'm all over the place today, forgive me. Yeah, this is a Lloyd's Pharmacy own brand one. Now, if you're going to buy one of these, make sure it's clinically validated. This one is. Again, the camera's not going to focus on that. But yeah, make sure it's clinically validated. If you go into your pharmacy and speak to the pharmacist about it, if you want to buy one of these, they can advise you which is the best one to buy. Now, this one was about £20. Which isn't bad, really. I was expecting it to be much more expensive. But yeah, it does ×2 memory function. So it 2 times 16 memory function. So I guess that means it can take up to 60 readings, I guess. So yeah, but let's see if we can take a reading now. I've used it a couple of times today, because I'm trying to get it to settle on a correct reading. So, right, so you want to move your shirt sleeve out the way. You put it up here. If I move the camera slightly so you can see what I'm doing. So, move my thing that way. You want to put it on your arm up here, and you want to put it about 2 centimeters-ish away from your elbow joint. And then when you do it up, don't do it too tight. Do it like, don't pull it, just put it on, if that makes sense. Because you don't want it to be loose, but you don't want it to be super tight either. You want to make sure you can get your hand between your arm and the cuff. Right, now that's on. Now, there is a start button and memory button. This camera is terrible. It's not good at focusing. Right, so I'm going to press start and we'll see what reading it gives. It's just doing its thing. Can you hear that? It's slowly inflating. a look at that. There we go, it's deflating. And there's the reading. So 166 over 78. That's lower than it was earlier. Now usually you would keep the unit still, flat on the table, but for the purposes of the video I was holding it up. And you would keep still as well while taking the blood pressure. But yeah, that's lower than it was earlier. So yeah, I've got to see, you should be able to do that when you put the cuff on, so don't do it super tight, because when it inflates it will hurt and you will probably damage the cuff if you do it too tight. So yeah, that works pretty well. So yeah, that's going to be a daily occurrence now, at least once a day, or a couple of times a day. I've got to take my blood pressure. Let's move the camera back slightly. There we go. That might be too high now. There, that'll do. Right, so yeah, it's going to be a daily occurrence, which is going to be fun. But yeah, at the moment, do excuse any crackling that is coming through, because I don't know why. When I was doing sound tests earlier, I kept getting a crackling on the playbacks, and I got no idea why. I've tested all the microphones I have and still a crackling. So I don't know whether that will clear up when I edit the video, I don't know. So please do forgive the crackling if you can hear it. Yeah. But so hopefully that will go pretty well. I'm going to write down the blood pressures when I take them, the readings, as well as, because this will store it, but with me, I'm clumsy, and when it comes to technology, I have the habit of pressing the wrong button by accident and deleting everything. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to write the readings down as well. So yeah. But yeah, that's that. What else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I was going to mention next month, February, is Marfan Syndrome Awareness Month. Now usually I would be doing some sort of fundraising or awareness raising for it, but where it's locked down and I'm shielding and everything like that, can't really do much. So I'm probably just going to be maybe make some videos or share some of the old videos I've done for Marfan awareness, share some pictures, stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to find out more about Marfan syndrome, go to the website on that picture, www.marfan.org. Or you can just Google Marfan syndrome and loads of information will come up about it. So yeah, but I will share a little bit about what Marfan syndrome is on this video. Marfan syndrome is a connective tissue disorder. Connective tissue runs throughout your whole body. Your muscles are made up of connective tissues. Your ligaments and tendons are made up of connective tissues. Nerves, some of those are made up of connective tissues. Your heart has a lot of connective tissues in it. And basically with Marfan syndrome, over time, these connective tissues can weaken. Now, it's normal for connective tissues to break down with age and with stress, but usually they would regenerate slightly. With Marfan syndrome, that doesn't happen. So we can suffer with major heart issues, such as aortic dissections, which is where a tear happens in the aorta. We can suffer from aortic aneurysms, which is where a hole forms in the, I believe it's called the inner lumen, which will create a pocket of blood between the inner and outer lumen, I believe it's called. And that pocket, as it fills with blood, will blow up like a balloon. And eventually that will burst, and that will send blood where you don't want blood, into the chest cavity, I guess. And then that could easily cause an aortic dissection, which is a tear in the aorta. Also, with an aneurysm, it may not burst. The aneurysm may just travel down the length of the aorta, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's some of the major heart issues. Also, we can have issues with the heart valves, because connective tissue becomes very weak in the heart valves, because our hearts pump very fast. It puts a lot of stress on the heart and those valves. We also have a lot of issues with eyes and the connective tissues in the eyes, such as the connective tissues that hold your lenses to your eyeball. They can break down, which is what happened with my eyes when I was about 10 or 11, I believe. The connective tissues broke down and my lenses, they call it dislocated lenses or ectopic lenses. So the lens just floats around freely in the eye and causes all sorts of havoc. And obviously creates poor vision. So I had to have operations on both eyes when I was about 10 or 11-ish to remove the lenses from my eyes, which is why now I wear glasses. As you can probably see with this eye, I'm having issues here which still are under investigation. We're not quite sure what's happening with this eye. But yeah, in Marfan syndrome, retinal detachment can be very regular. So something as simple as a knock on the head can detach the retina. Same with the heart issues. A simple knock on the chest, or even a heavy sneeze or cough can cause issues with the heart and the aorta. So we need to be very careful. Other issues are with the spine, such as scoliosis, which is something I went through when I was about 14. My scoliosis is where the spine bends. Now there's two forms, there's scoliosis and keratosis. Scoliosis is where the spine sort of bends side to side, if that makes sense. Keratosis is where the spine bends back to front. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, I had scoliosis, so my spine, they took an x-ray of my spine and it was an S, basically. So they had to do surgery to straighten my spine, and I had steel rods, or I don't think they're made of steel, but metal rods, bolted to my spine to help keep it straight. There's also other issues with the spine and spinal cord that we can have, such as dural ectasia, I believe it's called, where a hole forms in the dural sac. The dural sac is the sac of spinal fluid that surrounds the spinal cord. Now, dural ectasia is when a hole or a tear is caused in that sac and spinal fluid starts to leak out. Luckily, I have not had that one yet. There is still time. I'm not ruling anything out when it comes to Marfan syndrome. But yeah, there's a lot of issues. And as you can probably see as well, main issues with the joints. My joints dislocate quite easily, and they're very bony, very bendy, hypermobile, sublux. So yeah, a lot of issues with Marfan syndrome. So yeah, that's a little bit about Marfan syndrome. But if you want to find out more, as I said, go to that website, check it out. Yeah. So yeah, that's everything that's going on at the moment. Also, if you are a Marfan patient or a family member or friend or whatever of a Marfan patient and you need support, or or to talk to other Marfan patients or family members and friends of Marfan patients, go check out my support group on Facebook. If you type in Marfan _S syndrome, you'll find my group on there. They're a great bunch of members. I believe we're 1,800 strong at the moment. They're all great people, and all very eager to help out anyone with information and support. So if you're newly diagnosed, it's a great place to go for support and information. So yeah, do go check that out. And I think there are some more videos about Marfan syndrome on my channel, so check some of those videos out. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, to be honest. I've gabbed on enough. I haven't been making many videos lately because there's not really much to vlog about, really, is there? I mean, I don't really want to be making videos every other day. Hi, yeah, I'm still in lockdown. There we go. You know, because to be honest, during lockdown, I'm not doing much other than a little bit of housework. No, it doesn't seem like I do housework with that mess there. That's John's desk. Recently, there was an explosion on John's desk. Not really. It looks like there was, but yeah. But yeah, all I do in lockdown is housework and play video games and watch Netflix. That's about it, really. So yeah, there's not really much to vlog about. So when something kind of a little interesting happens, like the blood pressure monitor and stuff like that, I thought I'd make a video about that, you know. So yeah, I'm hoping to do some more gaming videos, and I'm hoping to get more to grips with the gaming live streaming, which I did start to do in the first lockdown. But I was having a few issues with lagging because some of the software I was using and some of the technology I was using was not quite up to the task. So every time I did a stream, it was super laggy. So yeah, I've got some better software now and some better hardware. So hopefully I can do some streaming on YouTube and maybe on Facebook and try live streaming some games. I got plans to do some streaming of Fallout 76. And I believe John was on about some Brawlhalla and maybe some Rocket League, although I am terrible at that game. But yeah, I might get R4G together to do some Rocket League and Brawlhalla. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what else happens. Hopefully some more Minecraft videos as well, because me and John were working on the Chronix world, Minecraft world, a couple of days ago, and we've made some changes. So maybe I'll do a video for that on the R4G page on Facebook. That's another page to check out if you haven't checked it out already. The R4G page, currently run solely by me. I haven't posted much on there recently because I've been busy. So hopefully we can get a video going for that, a Minecraft video going for that. But yeah, if you want to check out the other Chronix videos as well, go to R4G, and I think there might be one on my YouTube channel. But yeah, check the gaming playlist, it might be in there. So yeah, if you're bored in lockdown, there you go, you've got some gaming videos to watch. Yeah, so there we go. I think that is definitely it. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you all later. Bye-bye.